I wanted to talk a little bit about Rand Paul's exchange with Dr. Fauci today too, because that was something else. In fact, let me see. Let's go Rand Paul Fauci. There we go. Because they had quite the heated exchange, and a lot of people were some people were just cheering that good old Dr. Fauci told Rand Paul, that dirty, rotten human piece of excrement, that he just doesn't know what he's talking about and doesn't know he's wrong. Except the problem is everything Rand Paul was saying to Dr. Fauci yesterday had a paper trail. I mean, it's stuff that's just obvious. Something that was just obvious that happened that they can document, and Fauci's just saying that he's lying. So here, let's go. I'm going to go into that because even though it wasn't really planned, I didn't plan on that. I'm going to go ahead and go into that. Is this the exchange from yesterday? Let me see here. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one.
Said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. But the NIH failed to recognize
let's try this.
Defines it away, and it never came under any scrutiny. Dr. Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist from Rutgers, described this research in Wuhan as the Wuhan lab used NIH funding to construct novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses able to infect human cells and laboratory animals. This is high-risk research that creates new potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature. This research matches, these are Dr. E. Bright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain-of-function research, done entirely in Wuhan.
So, and as you'll see during this exchange, Dr. Fauci tells Rand Paul he doesn't know what he's talking about, and that this is not gain-of-function research. But Paul does a pretty good job of saying why it is, and you'd have to be holy shit. You'd have to be well, never mind. You have to be almost brain dead to believe it's not, even though Fauci insists it's not.
For which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress.
Now this got him. This got Fauci pissed off, knowing it's a crime not to lie to Congress. That line probably pissed off Fauci as much as anything. Good morning, Cannibalistic Whister, Jesse Leon, and Twisted Skipster. Nice to see you.
I wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress.
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
Yes, our staff reviewed it and made sure that we all are on the same page to not call it gain-of-function research. It was function gain research. It was kind of that's funny.
So
let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about.
Now, everybody on the left was cheering him, saying, "Oh, you put Senator Rand Paul in his place." And they're all excited. They're saying, "Oh, well, he's just an ophthalmologist. He's not a real doctor." No, the people who think that ophthalmologists are not real doctors, are idiots. Okay. Ophthalmologist is a medical doctor. They're thinking optometrist, the people who check your eyes at Pearl Vision Center. No, he's an eye surgeon. He's a surgeon. He's a medical doctor whose specialty is ophthalmology. Doesn't mean he didn't have to learn anything about infectious diseases, immunology, all this stuff. And that he has a brain to be a brilliant eye surgeon. He does free surgeries for people in third world countries, and he does all this stuff. He is a doctor, and he's a doctor who has practiced medicine far more recently than Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's a pencil-pushing bureaucrat who screwed up during the AIDS pandemic, or during the AIDS crisis too, just like he's screwed up now, and lied to the American people about masks, and he admitted it. So the idea that this man hasn't lied to Congress, well, he's certainly lied to America more than once, but here we go.
Okay, you get
NIH,
one person.
Let's read from the
Madam
NIH
Chair, can I
definition of
answer
gain
the
of
question?
function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among animals is gain of function. They took animal viruses that only occur in animals, and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's let Dr. Fauci.
I have to, well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan.
Oh, whoa, wait, what? What did he just say? Did he just admit that he knows the grant that went from EcoHealth to Wuhan? Because he was saying they never funded Wuhan at all. Apparently he knows about the grant. Good morning, Duck Dog, by the way. How you doing? And Jaded Emerald, what's happening? So he knew it. Here we go.
Created SARS-CoV-2. That's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Well,
we don't
wait
know
a minute.
If it did come from the lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally
This committee will allow the witness to respond.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator.
Wait, what's this guy nodding his head for? Is he one of those Faucism people? By the way, I just want to remind you, resist Faucism.
Plus, if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature.
Wait a minute. He knows about the viruses that were used in the experiments that they didn't fund? He's talking about them. How does he know about them if they didn't fund them? Interesting.
It is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
no
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That is
you can't
not.
get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You are the
Paul's
one.
time is expired, but I will allow the witness to.
Let me just finish. I want everyone to understand that if you look at those viruses, and that's judged by qualified virologists and evolutionary biologists, those viruses
is that a shot
are
at Rand Paul?
molecularly impossible
No one's
to
saying
result
they are. No
in
one's saying those viruses
SARS-CoV-2.
caused the pandemic.
Senator Paul,
We're saying they are gain-of-function viruses because they were
they're not.
animal viruses that became more transmissible in human, and you funded it.
And
Don't
you
admit the truth.
and you
Senator
implying
Paul, your time has expired, and I will allow witnesses who come before this committee to respond.
and you are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individual. I totally resent
could
that.
have
And
been.
if
And it
anybody
could
is
have been.
lying here, Senator, it is you.
He got a little heated, didn't he? Well, listen here. The idea that the NIH did not help fund gain-of-function research by their own definitions is quite ridiculous, isn't it? Don't you think? Don't you think it's a little bit nuts that he's just denying it when he just said they know that the grant that went to EcoHealth helped fund research at Wuhan, right? Yes, no, yes, we know that. In fact, he just said it did. So now he's saying, okay, so this experiment, these experiments that he they were doing there, in which they took animal viruses and adapted them so that they could be transmissible in humans, which is their definition of gain-of-function research, is not gain-of-function research. I thought the definition of gain-of-function research was if you take a virus, animal virus, and make it so that it's transmissible in humans so you can study it. That's the definition of gain-of-function research. What the hell is he talking about? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So anyway, that was the big dust-up yesterday, and good for Rand Paul for not backing down. And obviously, Dr. Fauci getting very well. Now, look, was it fair for Rand Paul to say that it's possible that research could have been resulted in the current pandemic that we are having? Is it that big a stretch? If that's the kind of research to do it, not maybe the specific viruses that the EcoHealth funded funds that they got from the National Institute of Health, and also the fact that, like Rand Paul said, now the evidence shows that it probably leaked from the lab because, the fact that the first person that we know of in that country of origin that shall not be named was a spouse. Oh, excuse me, the first person who died, not the first person who got it. The first person who died from this stupid 19 was a spouse of a person who worked in that lab. And the first cases that they know of now that they finally kind of narrowed down, that there were 3 people from that lab who had diseases of unknown origin, respiratory diseases, very, very, very similar to this particular one, because they didn't know what it was then, but they sure as hell know what it is now. So clearly, the whole wet market theory was probably bullshit from the beginning. They tried to blame it on that, but like Jon Stewart said, it's the name of the lab. So anyway, good morning, Maddie. How you doing? Also, good morning, Uncle Pat. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.